Hello everyone, and today I will be taking a look at queens who absolutely had what it took to go all the way, but for some reason or another, did not. Next up, from UK Season 2, we have Ahora. For the pre-COVID part of the season, Ahora was doing fine. Her episode 1 runway looks were very fashionable, but there wasn't too much that put her outside of the box. Her musical performance was good, not great. Her sewing performance was good, but it got dragged down by how much help she gave to Tace. And then in episode 4, she did a good job and could have won if she had a runway that actually fit the theme. Regardless though, Ahora is doing well, just not perfect. Production shuts down for COVID, and Ahora comes back swinging. Her first episode back, she is part of the United King Dolls, she gives a great verse, and an incredible runway that was made even better by the fact that someone wore the exact same concept of a look in a lower quality. This is a very strong episode for Ahora, and she gets a well-deserved win. Her second episode back is Snatch Game, where she is needlessly low, although in reality, multiple people were worse than her. Then we have her third episode back where Ahora shuts everyone down. This is one of the best runway looks we have ever seen, it is one of the best design looks we've ever seen, and it has some of the best presentation ever. This performance is made even better by the fact that she stole Sister Sister's branded makeup and wore it on the runway for herself, just all around iconic. Then we arrive at the comedy challenge. The final 5 is Bimini, Lawrence, Tace, Ellie, and Ahora. Bimini, Ahora, and Lawrence are all slaying the competition, while Tace and Ellie are beginning to struggle. Based off the performances, I would say the ranking is as follows. Bimini's in first, then Lawrence, then Tace, then Ahora, then Ellie. Based off this, Ahora and Ellie should be in the bottom 2 and lip sync, which Ahora would probably win. Sadly though, due to the Ahora vs. Tace storyline that has been happening all season, production decides to save Ellie for her drama with Lawrence and send Ahora and Tace into the bottom 2. This is the kiss of death for Ahora, as Tace is one of the strongest lip syncers we have ever seen. Ahora does a good job in the lip sync, ultimately losing to Tace and finishing 5th. With Bimini and Lawrence there, I don't want to say Ahora was ever going to win this season, but based off our finale runway, her unaired looks, I'm willing to say that if that comedy challenge were judged fairly, Ahora was probably making it all the way and would likely place either 3rd or 4th. First up, from All Stars 3, we have Aja. It is no secret that on Season 9, Aja very much underperformed expectations and did not have the best run. Based off her untucked fights and social media presence, Aja was able to earn a slot on All Stars 3 where she absolutely killed it. Episode 1 was the talent show, and Aja gave us one of the all-time greats. On All Stars 2, Tatiana set an insanely high bar for the talent show, and Aja is one of the few people to this day that has been able to come close to it. Her performance was very unique for what we'd seen at the time. It was one of the first really good original tracks, and it showed off how much she had grown as a performer and a drag queen. No offense to her Season 9 era performing skills, but she showed a level of control in this talent show that she did not have on Season 9. Then for the next few episodes, Aja would kind of get a bit of mistreatment. In the Rusical, Aja got Amy Winehouse. It was one of the best parts for the Rusical just based off the vocal quality and the jokes. Aja deserves to be high, if not top 2 for this week, but instead was safe because production was really starting to get worried about how much momentum she had. Aja stumbles a bit, and production decides that this is the perfect time to throw her into the bottom to hurt her track record long term. I'm gonna be honest, Aja was cast for the drama this season. Production had no idea she would do this well, especially so soon after her first season. Then we move on to Snatch Game, where Aja is once again under-critiqued. She did a great job, and while she did get enough positive critiques to be high, she was 100% one of the top 2 of the week along with Dela. These first few episodes after the talent show really show how badly production wanted to downplay how well she was doing. Fearing the incredible momentum Aja was gaining in this competition, production decides we need to get rid of Aja as soon as we can, and that is exactly what happens in the ball. I will not claim that Aja's soup can was good. She did not do well in that regard, but where she absolutely slayed was the sewing. Not only was she able to make an incredible outfit for BB that ended up winning, she also designed an incredible outfit for herself. This is very much giving what Aja would wear to a disco. However, Aja makes two fatal mistakes. Number one, her wig is giving a slightly different style of fashion than she should have, and two, she mispronounced someone's name. If this doesn't show that Aja is a foolish idiot who is out of her depth, I don't know what is. Based off these two awful, unforgivable mistakes, Aja is placed in the bottom and eliminated. All jokes aside, the critiques Aja got in this episode are some of the most blatant riggery we have ever seen in Drag Race. It was really, really uncomfortable. It is always very uncomfortable when you can tell exactly what RuPaul is trying to do, and it is a terrible idea. Looking at the rest of Aja's performances and runways throughout this season, she would have made it to the end. In girl groups, if she was one of the remaining queens and being judged fairly, she is 100% getting that top slot, probably along with BB. Then for the acting challenge, I don't think she would have been top 2 because Shangela and Trixie were there, but I think she would absolutely slay the runway. She was originally going to wear her jury devil look for that, and this looks great. Then we have her final runway. It is very beautiful, and she would kill Kitty Girl. I don't know if she would actually end up winning this season because of the jury, but regardless, I am willing to bet that Aja had what it took to go all the way. Next up, and this may be a controversial one, from season 13, we have Denali. Denali's run for the first part of season 13 was an absolute mess. Episode 1, she is forced by production to lip sync for her life in ice skates. Not only is that incredibly dangerous, but it puts her at a very unfair advantage compared to Lala, who is an equally good lip syncer but is not being held back by ice skates. Due to this ridiculous scenario, Denali falls into the loser circle and is never able to break out of that, almost entirely due to production. Episode 3 is the premiere with the losing queens, and Denali bodies everyone. This is one of the most dominant challenge performances we will see all season. She wins the challenge, she wins the lip sync, all around great showing. Episode 2 is a slightly less good showing for Denali, but it has a huge silver lining. Denali places in the bottom almost entirely due to storyline, as she had a great runway and an okay performance in the challenge. 100% pure love starts to play, and Denali commits murder on that stage. This is, in my opinion, one of the most lopsided lip syncs of modern Drag Race. There was literally no way Kimura was staying, just all around perfection. For her later part of the season, she was giving consistently good performances, but sadly, production just did not see it for her. Since she was a part of the loser circle and they were so obsessed with that narrative, Denali was constantly shafted, and outside of the premiere where there were literally no members of the winner circle, Denali never got the praise she deserved. We arrive at the makeover challenge where Denali shows her first signs of weakness. Number 1, she is paired with Olivia and does a mediocre to bad job. Number 2, Olivia bombs as well, landing both of them in the bottom 2. Number 3, Shackles is the only song in the season Denali did not have a prepared lip sync for. All of this combines and sends Denali out of the competition in 8th place. I think, and this may be controversial, Denali, if she survived this episode, would make it to the end. We have an advertising challenge, which she'd be fine in. We've seen she's very funny and good at branding, not to mention her monster runway is very unique. We have a roast where I cannot imagine she does worse than Simone or Utica. We have an acting challenge where I have no doubt she would do fine, but even if she didn't, she has a great runway for performing and is an incredible dancer. Then we have the remix, which she would absolutely body. I know this may be controversial, but I genuinely don't see how Denali gets cut in any episode other than the makeover. Next up, from All Stars 8, we have Heidi in Closet. Heidi in Closet is another queen who did consistently good, but was always passed over for high placements. She was safe in girl groups, but showed off a massive redemption on the runway. She was high in RDR Live, she should have been high if not winning the ball, and she could have been high in the advertising challenge. Heidi was doing a great job for these first 4 episodes, all of the cast seemed to like her, and the fans were absolutely eating her up. Heidi is one of the few queens on this season with a big enough fanbase to take on Jimbo. She is also one of the only queens competitively this season who is actually able to match Jimbo, even though production's behavior would not let you believe that. We arrive at Snatch Game and everything kinda goes wrong. Heidi bombs the challenge, she gets into a big fight with Candy where her social game is completely ruined, and due to this and the insane mental stress of participating in Drag Race, Heidi quits. Looking at the performances Heidi gave us all season and her runways, Heidi was going to make it very far on the season. I genuinely don't see what challenge she would go out on. It's not going to be the Rusical, I don't think it would be the Design Challenge or the Improv Challenge, maybe the Roast if Jimbo wins it over her, but I still doubt it. The only time I could see her possibly going is the Makeover, but even then, Candy might decide to keep her if she's still around. All this to say, if Heidi didn't quit, she was making top 4, maybe top 3, or maybe even top 2. Finally, from season 8, we have Acid Betty. Acid Betty had an incredibly underrated run on this season. Her design challenge look was very well executed and really only lost because it wasn't outside of the box compared to what we saw on the original Moneyball. In the Rusical, she was a solid third with a great runway, but due to Michelle's comments about her falling hard, production really didn't see much of a future with Acid Betty. Then in the acting challenge, she is yet again third place, she has a great showing on the runway, and is all around just doing well. Episode 4, she is part of Street Meet, she shows off a very unique runway, and once again is doing really well in the competition. Snatch Game comes around, and I don't feel like I need to say much. She bombs the challenge, she is unique on the runway, but not enough to save her. She lands in the bottom with Naomi Smalls, gets absolutely smoked, and finishes out the season in 8th place. The next challenge was the Makeover, which involved a lot of sewing and artistic ability. These are both things Acid has. Next is the Shady Politics Challenge. I cannot see her doing worse than Chi-Chi or Thorgy. Then final 5 is the Ball. Once again, it is about sewing, design, and runways, all things Acid has in spades. I think Acid probably makes it to the end if she survives Snatch Game. Hey, it's Drag Race Rejudged. Do you want gay shit? Well then check out the RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged YouTube channel and hit subscribe.